right, well, so good to be home. For those that don't know, I'm from Minnesota, born and raised, and every time I'm here, it brings me some of the fondest memories of my childhood. You know, spending time on the lakes in the summers, playing baseball, or spending time on the ice in the winter, ice skating, maybe ice fishing, and also, you know, having had a chance to grow up as a performer, as an actor. I got my start in acting here in Minnesota, and I was blessed to book a role playing Gordon Bombay in The Mighty Ducks, or young Emilio Estevez. You know, learning these important moves like the flying V, and important lessons about how ducks fly together. And that led to my moving to California, continuing my acting career, making, I think, a relevant movie to right now called First Kid, where I played the son of the President of the United States of America. And ended up in business, doing a bunch of things. But I'm honored and grateful to be here to announce that we are on the ballot in Minnesota for President of the United States. And so our vision for America is a united America. Our vision for America is an America where no one is left behind. Our vision for America is an America with clean air, clean water, a clean earth, recognizing our responsibility as custodians, as stewards for future generations. Our vision for America is an honest America built on truth and transparency, an America of, for, and by the people, one of harmony and prosperity for all. It's time for leadership that understands how to solve 21st century problems, recognizing that we need 21st century solutions, generally founded on innovation. Technology is probably the #1 issue our country faces today. Artificial intelligence is going to change the world in ways that dwarf what the internet and what automation has done, and it's going to do it quickly. What we do over the course of the next decade is not only going to determine the fate of this nation, but quite possibly for all of humanity. It's worth noting that technology is amoral. Technology is neither good or bad. The impact of technology is determined by the way in which we use it, which is why we need visionary leadership that understands how to navigate the road ahead, not through the rearview mirror, but with foresight. I think it's also worth talking about debt. America has a debt problem, whether it be our consumer debt or our big corporate debt and the moral hazard it presents. As our big corporations become indebted, we don't have capitalism when they've got problems and our government bails them out every time and socializes their losses at the expense of taxpayers. We've got a corporate debt problem, and we also have a government debt problem. Right now, our government debt has exceeded the size of our economy. Our debt has reached the highest levels in 75 years. The last time we had debt like this was during World War II. Who's going to bail out the United States of America? I spend a lot of time focused on currency and building technologies that enhance our currency and educating governments around the world how to use technology to improve currency. The US dollar's world reserve status is very important to this country. The US dollar is the foundation of our economy, and our reserve status is under threat. The U.S. dollar's reserve status adds $20 to $30 trillion of value to our economy. It is very important we are making good decisions for our collective future as it relates to our currency and our debt. As Brittany said, and as former Senator Dean continued on, Minnesota is the capital of independent thinking and supporting independent candidates for office. So Minnesota, we have an opportunity together to make history. No state in this country has ever elected an independent candidate for president. We've only had one independent president in this country, and that was George Washington. Are we ready to elect the first independent candidate for president? I think it's time for real change. What did George Washington tell us at his closing address? He warned us about the risk of political parties. John Adams and the other founding fathers warned us of the risk and told us to never allow two political parties to become dominant. Let's not forget these lessons. Let's rise above partisan politics together and unite this nation again. This global crisis that we've been venturing through has left us no choice but to make a change, to leave the binary choice, the binary option that we have. Systems of two never work. When you have a system of two, like a magnet, those binary choices will come together into collusion or polarize into absolute division. It's also worth noting what's happening in terms of technology and how social media is impacting our democracy. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook announced today that they're banning political ads the week before the election. I'm not sure what the impact of this is going to be, but big technology is having a very big impact on our collective future. I'm not a career politician. I've held many offices all over the world, none of which were political, but I know how to build things out of nothing. I am not limited by the status quo. I am not limited by the present reality in which we live. I see beyond that. I see into the future, and I see a brighter future for the United States of America. I'd like to point out in our Constitution, we talk about we the people, but did you know when we say we the people, it does not mean all the people. We have an opportunity to upgrade America, to write a new operating system for this country, to create America 2.0. So how do we measure our government? How do we hold our government to account? How do governments judge themselves? One of the metrics they use is this idea of growth, or GDP, gross domestic product. The problem with growth is it doesn't differentiate between positive and negative growth. Forest fires in California create growth. Hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico create growth. Polluting the air, the water, and the earth, and poisoning our people and people having cancer creates growth. Providing treatment and not cures to people creates growth. But this isn't the kind of growth that we want to incent. So I'm proposing another idea of how we measure our government and how our government should measure itself going forward. Borrowing from, again, our founding fathers, the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life expectancy in America is in decline despite the advancements in technology and science and medicine. What if we judged our government and our government judged itself by life expectancy? That would align incentives in a way that would create an America we all want to live in. What if we judged our government by liberty? We're supposed to be the land of the free. What if we measured our government by freedom? Instead of being the country that has more people locked up per capita than anywhere in the world, we could become the country with the fewest people in prison. but having a justice score. Justice does matter. Justice is critical. Justice just is. And the pursuit of happiness. Other governments around the world have created this concept of gross national happiness, where they're measuring the happiness of their people and judging their government's success by happiness. So these are three game-changing ideas. Changing the score or the metric of how we hold our government to account and how it can account for its own success. And see, this is just one big idea that could literally change the scope of our future. And it doesn't require us winning an election. This is something we can choose to do as the American people together. And so we're here to celebrate together with my running mate, who is a champion in diversity with background in government, big company, and entrepreneurial experience. A true champion who's actually worked here in Minnesota for roughly a decade, don't you know? So please welcome my presidential pick, my running mate, Carla Ballard. God bless Minnesota, and God bless America.